I yield back my time.
So I'm not the only one who gives assignments. We're going to go to the next freshman that's very talented, Juan Ciscomani.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I will not be giving an assignment. Maybe that deserves a round of applause too, but no homework for me. I do just want to touch on something that Debbie mentioned though, and I think it's very important regarding the permitting reform. That, in my mind, is a big piece of the issue and a big part of the problem, because it's once again, we're all here accountable to the people that elected us. And obviously we have an executive branch that is also accountable, or should be accountable, to the people that elected that person as well. And the judges have their own checks and balances method. But it seems that the agencies are almost immune to accountability many times. And from Congress, that's our job. We have power of oversight, and we also have the power of the purse. These are two areas that we can really tweak. And 7 months in now as a freshman, I'm learning that more and more as an appropriator, especially where you can add pressure for things to happen and get done and gain attention. You know, there's a lot of lip service going on in Washington. I think you know that, and it's been going on for a long time. You don't get people's attention until you start pointing the finger and squeezing resources out of whatever they want to be spending on that. And with permitting reform is a big part of this. At the same time, we want to make sure that we're empowered to be able to do the things that we need to do as a community. The permitting reform is a big one. We just met with CEMEX just before this, and they were talking about some easy permit, and hearing the stories even here in Arizona. Imagine what it is like in California. I mean, no state is perfect, but I do think that Arizona has done a much better job than other states in this, under the leadership of Misael Cabrera and others like him. But when you still look at it, it's the federal intervention that really makes it way more difficult for states to be able to be innovative in this, because so much of it is controlled at the federal level. So in terms of the permitting reform, 7 to 10 years, they were saying that some small permit to just do something very simple can take. This is time that they're not being productive. This is time that we're wasting, then that other countries are not wasting, and they're actually producing and beating us to the punch once again. That's extremely frustrating, and I was going to pose a question on that, but I think we've discussed that enough. But a segue into what I saw in the plant today, I've seen that in Cal Portland, over in the plant over in my own district, and whenever I visit a mine, I am increasingly impressed by the technology they use, by how innovative they are, how resourceful they are, especially with our precious water. I mean, when you build the 5th largest city in the country in the middle of the desert, you do something well with water, right? And Arizona has been leading the way in that. So would any of you jump in to talk a little bit about the mining industry and how that's changed over the years? And I know that some people cite past environmental digressions to criticize the industry. So I'd like to hear more about where the industry is now and where it's headed in terms of its efficiency, and how in my mind, is one of the best examples we have in our country of how you can protect the environment while not choking the free enterprise and business out of its existence as well.
If I may.
Sure.
I lost the train there real quick. With the permitting process, it's the little things that keep ending up as speed bumps in front of you. It's a very simple process. Here in the U.S., we are clean, safe. Here's a good example. With lithium, over in China, even down in Argentina, they're using huge ponds of sulfuric acid to do the dissolve. We also use acid, but we regenerate 95% of our acid through distillation. That is not just use it once and done. That's constantly being able to use 95% of it over and over and over. That's something that other countries don't even try. That's something that a lot of U.S. companies haven't even tried, but we've perfected it. We can get 95, some days even 97% of our acid back in the same pH, ready to use again, instead of just discarding and starting with new. Those are the things that we do that keep it cleaner here and safer. And it costs us a little bit more. There's, trust me, these distillers, they aren't free. But when you can do something and save 95% of your reagent to reuse, you're doing something correct. That is how we make mining cleaner, safer.
If I could just add one other thing, and I've been to copper, silver, gold, uranium, and coal mines across this country. These are not 5-year, 10-year partnerships. Like these companies, the resources that are available are in many cases a 50-year partnership. They're members of the committee. Like they want to invest in our schools because that's their workforce. They want to reclaim these lands because it's opportunities for economic development once you've pushed through projects moving forward. They want to be contributors to the local economy, things along those lines. And so I think far too often the bureaucracy thinks about the opportunity costs of moving forward on the projects in simplistic terms, like, oh, we're just going to mine this land. Like these are opportunities to build out our community to sustainable jobs and have decades-long partnerships while increasing our national security.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much once again. Thank you all for your time this morning, and thank you all for being here as well. Mr. Terry, you're back.
I think the gentleman now, our Vice Chair, Mr. Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In my district, it's mostly rural.